Welcome to the Wellesley Fire Rescue Department's FY22 Town Meeting Budget Presentation. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Rick DeLaurie. I'm the Fire Chief here in the town of Wellesley. I was appointed in 2009 and in February completed my 12th year as your Fire Chief. I'm so very proud of the men and women of the Wellesley Fire Department and the high quality and the variety of services they provide our community. I'm most proud of the progress on diversity, and we'll speak to that later in the program. We're able to meet the needs of our community as a result of support of our town's elected officials and the extraordinary collaborative relationships we have with other Wellesley Town departments and our mutual aid partners within the fire district that we belong. The mission of the Wellesley Fire Rescue Department is a commitment to excellence to providing services for the preservation of life, property, and the environment. We will be responsive to the needs of our residents and others we may serve by providing rapid professional services essential to the health, safety, and well-being of our community. We will accomplish our mission through skills training, professional development, and preparedness of our equipment to provide a robust response to fire suppression, medical emergencies, active shooter incidences, automobile extrication, hazardous material mitigation, inspectional services, and various public safety educational programs and community events for students all the way to seniors. This is the organizational chart of the Wellesley Fire Department. At administration, we have the chief and an assistant chief, one administrative assistant, one mechanic. He's a certified emergency vehicle technician to service and schedule testing of all of our fire apparatus and has the qualifications and certifications to repair all of our specialized equipment. We work in four suppression groups, A, B, C, and D. Group A needs an additional position that's currently vacant. Each deputy chief is in charge of a shift. Each deputy chief also has a specialty area as well. Administrative services, apparatus and equipment, training, communications and information technology. Additionally, each lieutenant supervises an engine company or a ladder crew and may also have specific inspectional routes in which they provide inspectional services to the commercial properties within the town of Wellesley. The fire inspector issued 962 permits. Related inspections, mandated inspections for schools and fire drills, medical facility inspections, and we work seamlessly with the building department inspectors to conduct all our interrelated projects. The national staffing standards. Wellesley Fire staffs at 13 personnel per group. One group is short one firefighter, and we will be requesting adding a position in FY23. The national standard response for a single room fire is 15 personnel initial response. Needham was awarded a grant, a federal grant that added 8 personnel to meet the national staffing standard, and they staff at 17. I do acknowledge that 2 of the firefighters, since they operate a fire-based ambulance, were assigned to the ambulance. They're a comparable sized community, and our staffing level we should consider in the future raising to the 15-person standard. The federal fire grant covers 75% of the payroll and benefits for 2 years, and then begins to wind down to allow the community to get acclimated to the budget, to absorb in the budget. Wellesley Fire Department responds on average to over 4,200 calls for various types of services, and we train every day. We had a number of fires, of major fires that occurred over the past months. From left to right, the Riverdale Road fire, fortunately, the family was able to escape safely. Sadly, they lost their family dog. To any of us that are pet lovers, you know how tragic that is. In the middle was a Washington Street fire, garage fire, where 53 T-Bird was lost in that building. And as you see, the flames on the right-hand side of the garage were reaching hard to get to the building, to the actual structure of the home. We were able to get between the fire and contain the fire damage to primarily the garage. The garage was a total loss. Recently, on April 4th at 9:50 p.m., there was a report of fire in South Natick. There was a multi-alarm fire where Engine 1 responded to assist. Fortunately, the family was not at home. And as you can see, the extensive flames coming through the roof. Likely the house is a total loss. As I say, we train every day. On the bottom left-hand corner, ladder familiarity is critical to ensure that all new recruits are confident with heights before heading off to the Mass Fire Academy. We train with the new recruits at various angles and heights with both ladders to perfect their skills and assist them with the challenges they'll face at the Mass Fire Academy. Additionally, all personnel bring out apparatus at the beginning of every shift and review bumper to bumper every component of the truck to ensure it's ready to go for their tour duty. In the middle, the William Street, one of the vacant office buildings in the William Street project, we were offered the opportunity to utilize the building. We work closely with new construction projects from design review to occupancy. We use the vacant building for drills, line stretches, door breaching, etc., and we truly appreciated the access provided to practice our skills and make our personnel stronger. Lower right, you see two new recruit firefighters. The recruits were put through ASHER basic training. ASHER is an acronym for Active Shooter Hostile Emergency Response. All our personnel are trained for Rescue Task Force Model EMS training, in which our personnel don ballistic helmets, glasses, ballistic vests, bulletproof vests, and we have special bags with hemorrhage control and quick carry kits where we can drag and lift people out of precarious places and get them away from the hot scene or the warm scene of danger. We do this in coordination and under the protection of law enforcement, and we practice with them on this effort. Incidents across the country, sadly, are increasing. We need to be prepared, and the only way to prepare is by continuous training. Every riding seat, every fire vehicle, every fire SUV has ballistic gear on board so that our personnel are fully prepared to bring as much manpower to any scene to assist the victims should we have this type of incident, whether it's in our community or in one of our mutual aid communities where we have responsibilities. The types of calls the Wellesley Fire Department responded. As you can see, residential fires 20, commercial, auto, miscellaneous fires 17. EMS is our primary response function at 1885. Patient public assistance in the home 250. MVAs 171. Rescue hazardous conditions alarm activations 865. Service calls miscellaneous calls 909, and mutual aid is 113. I'd like to break that down a little bit. So hazardous rescue conditions, that can include anything from sprinkler activation to carbon monoxide sounding, where we have to go in with specialized gas meters to determine whether or not the activation is accidental, a device malfunction, or you actually have a CO device failure in your home and make your home safe. Smoke detector activations also are under that hazardous rescue category. In addition to that, elevators, we do 90 elevator entrapments approximately a year, 90 to 100, and the elevator entrapments where we have the tools and the training to access and open the elevator doors. We try and bring them down to ground level through service training. However, the elevator maintenance companies for en route will wait for them. But if there's any kind of medical condition, and a medical condition could be a wide scope from somebody having a cardiac issue all the way to the urgency of somebody may be needing the bathroom and or anxiety, we would immediately access and pop the doors open by either special keys that we have or a forcible entry if we needed to. The hazardous material releases are things of electrical issues of that in the home, power lines down. And power lines down aren't always like the major MLP power lines. Sometimes people call in with a power line down, and when we get there, it turns out to be one of them lower on the telephone pole that it would include, cable, phone, things of that nature, and we'll coil them up and put them off to the side of the road. And notify that proper company. Service calls, those relate to alarm malfunctions. They're important to respond to let them know what particular devices, where the problems are, and make sure that that building is brought back online and up to code. Public service type calls are typically seniors and residents needing some assistance in the home, not necessarily fire or EMS. That may have been an accidental slip and fall. They got themselves into a position where they can't get out, or there's something in the home that they're having difficulty with, where at the end of the day there wasn't anyone else to call, and they give us a call. Malicious falses, very, very rare, 5 in a given year, if that. And then water flooding issues is approximately 47 of those, and those could be generated from broken pipes within the home to natural outside source of water flooding. Mutual aid is very reciprocal with our 35 mutual aid partners. We respond to about 113 calls, and it's about a 50-50 split of station coverage going directly to fires, and as well as them coming to assist us. Wellesley Fire Stations and Apparatus, an overview. Fire headquarters in Central Street both stations are in good shape due to the efforts of the firefighters' daily maintenance work that they do, and the excellent work by Joe McDonough and the team at FMD. Here in the beginning, when COVID started over a year ago, the FMD taught our staff how to clean and disinfect our stations specifically for COVID, and that brought great comfort to all of us that work here at both stations, and allowed us to keep our levels of infection down, and our staff able to respond to your needs in the community. The headquarters was built in 1987, and it was built in mind with the future of the fire department to have female employees, and with that we have appropriate quarters where we have separate locker rooms and bathrooms and things of that nature. Station 1, however, with all the great work that's been done over the years, we have to recognize that it was built in 1929, and it has no accommodations for our diverse staff. So we are in a situation where we have male, female co-workers assigned to Station 1, and they're sharing locker rooms, bathrooms, and closing doors, trying to maintain some privacy. And I know some say that colleges have co-ed floors. Those are colleges. We're an employer, and at some point the town should look at a new station, a replacement of Station 1, as a mechanism to provide an appropriate work environment for the very diverse staff that we now have. Going down on the equipment, we're in very good shape. Tower 2 is assigned out of headquarters, replaced in 2012. Engine 1 at Central Street is scheduled replacement is coming up in 2024. Engine 2 operating out of headquarters, replaced in 2015. And Quint 3 assigned to headquarters. His replacement from 2019 was expected to delivery 2020, and then it became spring of 2021 as a result of COVID delays. We're looking probably closer toward the summer due to the, again, COVID delays at the factory, and it's interrupted their production, their supplies. The truck is under construction, and we're getting regular updates on its status. Departmental training priorities. Enhanced training on COVID prevention is certainly significant. Fire suppression, EMS, hazmat, and other training from recruits to senior staff to safely respond to all types of emergencies. Officer development is critical to maintain continuity of leadership as staff retires. We're providing extensive training opportunities to various personnel to address the loss of experienced personnel. The pictures on the bottom display training is wide in scope. That we had the new recruits becoming familiar with ladder operations. We also had a discriminatory harassment program that was provided by the town's labor council to review our policy and teach our staff, given our staff's growing diversity and also the diversity of the people that we serve. In the bottom right hand picture, you see our emergency vehicle technician mechanic who repairs, but not only repairs and services our equipment, but teaches our staff about any changes, or if we're having operational problems. In this instance, he's teaching some new recruits about the chainsaw operations and the tools capabilities and what to do if it jams or doesn't start, and how to safely operate the tool. Our office is also involved in that training simultaneously to show them how to properly use the tool in emergency conditions and various scene operations. Wellesley Fire Department's diversity inclusion efforts. We conducted enhanced training in person on discriminatory harassment for all our personnel, given the close quarters in which we work and the diversity of the people we serve. Discriminatory harassment was provided in person by the town's labor council attorney, Jacqueline Kugel, on the apparatus floor to keep it safe, but to review in person the fire department's discriminatory harassment policy, answer questions directly, and teach our staff, given the growing diversity of our team and the diversity of the individuals we serve. Contrasting our diversity efforts in the past, diversity hiring from 1986 to 2009, only 2 minorities were hired. Diversity hiring from 2009 to the present, we've hired 8 qualified personnel from underrepresented classes of females and minorities, becoming a very diverse team. Drawing your attention to the lower right-hand picture, you'll see 3 female firefighters and 2 guests on the front of Engine 1. This is a pre-COVID photo, but it's an important photo because it's a historical one. By a series, these individuals don't work together assigned to the same shift, but by a series of swaps and station assignments, this history was made. The lieutenant was an acting lieutenant, and the 2 female firefighters were assigned to that station. They did a terrific job, and when we currently have no female or minority officers, I expect that through additional training and as future testing comes along, that we will see, without question, females and minorities rise to assume future officer roles within the Wellesley Fire Department. And I'll support that effort and assist them to the best of my abilities. COVID-19 departmental modifications. We continue to train all personnel on new challenges responding to COVID-19 from its inception to now, to provide for patient and provider safety and equipment and building sanitizing practices maintained. We have adapted and will continue to adapt training during the COVID-19 pandemic, to keep developing our officers and firefighter skills to maintain safety. We closed both our stations to the public. Medical masks required to be worn by our staff at all times in the stations and on apparatus. COVID-19 PPE supplies and vaccine. We work closely with the health department, an excellent partner. Together we provided personal protective equipment and supplies to other departments that traditionally didn't use PPE. Over the past month, we've continued to bulk purchase PPE to create a stockpile of supplies in the event of future outbreaks. The Wellesley Health Department provided the first and second vaccine doses to all fire and police personnel. This was a seamless rollout by them at fire headquarters. Special thanks to the health department's entire team for all the work they did. COVID-19 community outreach. Last year, the Wellesley citizens donated over 10,000 pieces of PPE equipment, and this continued, and it continues to today. The Wellesley Fund for COVID-19 Relief Fund Grant Program for KN95 masks for seniors and at-risk citizens delivered over 4,000 KN95 masks to seniors, and we continue to provide those masks upon request to any seniors. I put John Shula up as a role model for our community because we wanted to get the message out, and the Council on Aging and others were instrumental in putting that message out to the community that this is available. We have plenty of supplies, and the PPE and the KN95s, and an abundant supply, and we'll be happy to share them with anybody that needs them. Community outreach. In spite of COVID-19 and the challenges it presented, we continued with our September 11th memorial. It was recorded and broadcast through Wellesley Media. The safety education for students, unfortunately, was canceled. CPR for community groups, especially nurses and small groups that needed it, those were provided to them as necessary. Safety education for seniors, given that the senior center has a direct connection link up with the Wellesley Media, Lieutenant Paul Delaney was able to put on some safety programs for the seniors in Wellesley, and he did an excellent job with that. The annual open house and parade obviously were canceled. LEPC, Local Emergency Planning, and Community Emergency Response Preparedness Group, those were canceled and not utilized this past year. The Sharps drop-off program at the fire department, and it's a health department program, that remained accessible, and we would just open up the apparatus bay door where that kiosk is, and allow the citizen to drop off their sharps to keep them out of the the waste supply stream, and keep our public works folks safe. The 54th Annual Thanksgiving Senior Citizens Dinner dates all the way back to 1966 when the Veterans Council started it, and a number of years ago it was handed over to the fire department, who had been working on it for decades with them. The COVID, obviously prevented a large gathering, so we adapted and we went to a Meals on Wheels method. We delivered 185 dinners to seniors, working with the firefighters that volunteered their time and their family, select board members and their family, and a number of regular volunteers to keep this great event and tradition going. The Council on Aging took the names and addresses, and we established some really efficient delivery routes, and our annual program was pre-recorded so we could provide the same entertainment that we would at Trim Dining Hall Babson. So we had the Veterans Table, and Ben Hampton, Marine veteran here, explained the symbolism of the POW MII table. There was a senior citizen safety program by Lieutenant Delaney, and then some music as well. And I'd just like to You know, I wish I could acknowledge everybody that helped, but so many did. But I popped up some pictures, and on the bottom left to right is Deputy Matt Corder and his daughter Emmy. And then you see the next picture is myself giving a little elbow bump to Lynn Fryman. Um, and then you see the Roach Brothers dinner, and we bought reusable shopping bags to deliver the meals in. Um, the rubber can opener, and then a number of citizens, seniors received gift cards from various places throughout town as surprise gifts. We also threw in obviously some KN95s, and they had a great dinner delivered to them. And moving on, we have a select board member, Lisa Only, her husband Tim, and her daughter that delivered meals, and select board member Beth Sullivan Woods and her son Jimmy delivered meals. And like I said, I'd say thank you to everybody who helped out, turned out to make this happen. So COVID did not stop our event, and it was a great tradition that was maintained. In FY21, we got a number of grants that I'd like to thank Assistant Chief Peterson, Deputy Mortarelli, Lieutenant Paul Delaney for their work in applying to these grants. So we got a state emergency management planning grant. It supports our Station Smarts inspectional software program for $6,500. Department of Fire Services student senior safety grant was gotten by Lieutenant Paul Delaney. He did the pre-recorded safety videos for students and seniors for $6,400. The Massachusetts Executive Office of Public Safety Fire Equipment Grant, that was $15,000 grant. We just learned of this Friday, April 2nd, and for $15,000. And what this is going to allow is us to purchase thermal imaging cameras that are built into every lieutenant's SCBA mask, so that they can enter any smoke-filled fire environment, and they'll be able to see in the dark, and they'll be able to see heat variations and variables to enable them to effect rescues or find the source of the fire faster. Additionally, the Middlesex Savings Bank Community Public Safety donation, they provided a grant for $10,000 where we're purchasing a hydraulic rescue tool that's battery operated, and it's replacing an outdated gas powered unit, which is environmentally friendly, and the hydraulic tool can be operated indoors as well. I'm sure we have an indoor operation. And then lastly, the Community Fund for Wellesley COVID-19 Relief Fund provided us $7,740 over the course of this whole past year to provide KN95 masks for seniors, and the folks that made the homemade cloth masks. Working together group was fantastic in all that they did. Budget contract highlights. The Cataldo ambulance, operating out of fire headquarters under the direction of the fire department, delivers ambulance services in Wellesley without any town subsidy, and the contract they're contracted through December 31st, 2022, and they have done an outstanding job. The firefighters union contract expired on June 30th, 2020, and has been settled through June 30th, 2023. The FY22 budget highlights are the fire department's overall operating budget is within guidelines. The operating budget does include 8 new hires that are currently at the fire academy, and also includes a 9th position that we've yet to fill. The contractual obligations of personal services costs were the primary factors that use the majority of the 2.5% guideline funds. Various overtime accounts were increased to reflect the impact of base pay increases to maintain staffing, and one area given additional funding and experience over the past year and for prior years was an increase in illness coverage which we're able to cover injury and or cancer issues, as we've seen some of our members deal with over this past year or two. So our budget come in at guideline at 2.5%, and we level funded the expense budgets with no increases. And we've been fortunate to at times turn back some money under expenses, so we feel we're in good shape and confident that we're funded appropriately. The FY22 capital requests are $5,000 for the townwide AED replacement. This is a third of a 4-year plan where we monitor all the AEDs throughout the town, and town halls at various buildings throughout the town, and Public Works and elsewhere. We go around periodically. We check the dates of the pads. They do expire and need replacement. The batteries do expire and need replacement. But we keep track of these units, make sure that they're ready to go in the event that somebody needs them. So it was one entity in town, and the fire department stepped up to oversee this program. The $150,000 fire turnout request is to meet the standards of gears and reduces cancer by enabling staff to wash exposed gear and use the second set. You know, the gear, we have a special washer extractors that have been purchased over the past couple of years to wash the gears right after an incident, but then the drying of the gear, because it's so thick and heavy, it takes significant amount of time. So in order for them to continue to function and not be out of service, the second set is necessary. It is a standard within the district we work in and the 35 other communities around us. Lastly is $20,000 as part of our ongoing fire hose replacement program, where we're maintaining compliance with the National Fire Protection Association industry standards to maintain our hoses based upon the service life of the hoses that we have on the trucks. Just an update on a Flag 20 capital project, the replacement of the Quint. This vehicle was funded previously, and it's being constructed, and the expected delivery was late 2020. COVID delays is maybe late spring 2021, but with the issues of COVID, I have expectations that we'll probably see it closer to the summer, given the way COVID takes out the factory line workers and that they're unable to resume production. So we'll just be patient, understand that we're in a COVID world, and we await the delivery of our truck. Audrey, thank you for all your service to the town of Wellesley. And on behalf of the Wellesley Fire Department and all the firefighters, we thank you for your service on the Board of Selectmen, and in particular serving as the Board of Fire Engineers. We wish you well in your future endeavors, and we hope you come back and join us soon. Lastly, I'd like to say thank you for supporting the Wellesley Fire Department, and be well. It's been a tough period of time for all to go through the COVID pandemic, and but I think what we've done as a community is show how great and strong we can be together and supportive of each other. And if there's anything the fire department can do to help support you or your organization, just reach out and ask. If it's as simple as a mask or assistance with manpower, you can count on us. Just ask. Thank you for the support, and thank you for your time listening to my presentation.